For 22.5 months, that's how long it has been ever since the October 7th attacks took place. And we have seen Australia succumb or be taken over, I should say, by the likes of an Islamic Marxist organization or group of terrorists roaming our streets every single bloody weekend, as it would seem. This past weekend that we just had, we had more protests on the streets, and they are getting bigger every single week. Why is that? Why is it that we have so many people that are chanting and screaming free Palestine, roaming the streets wearing terrorism memorabilia, I should say? They've got the headbands, the bandanas, they've got everything, the scarves, you name it, everything that revolves around terror, they've got. They got the flags, shirts, everything. Why is it that we've got so many people that are marching the streets to free the Palestinian people, but not of Hamas, of apparently Israel? Why have we got them doing that, but we don't have mass protests for Ukrainians, for example, where an actual genocide is really going on over there and actual famine is going on over there? Why is it that we're only seeing the pro-Palestinian mob, the useful idiots of Hamas? The propaganda war, the propaganda machine is on full display, isn't it? And Australia has been taken over. You know why? Because our weak, spineless politicians have let these people in for years. And it was only a matter of time. And they won't do anything about it now because they're too damn scared. The wolf is already in the hen house and it's already starting to take over. So the scenes that we were seeing on the streets of Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, every single major city in Australia, the pro-Palestine Muslim crowd, the pro-terrorism crowd were marching in full solidarity. And you know what else I find really insane too? Is just how many of these other radical leftist groups attach their ideologies to the pro-Palestinian one. The Queers for Palestine, for example, the LGBT nonsensical group latch on to the pro-Palestinian stuff. They don't do that for Ukraine. They only do it for the pro-Palestinian stuff, which, by the way, if they even went to Gaza, they'd be thrown off a rooftop. But I don't think anyone that is part of the LGBT nonsense really knows about that because they're only listening to what the mainstream media talks about, aren't they? And so as a result, we have the mainstream media lying all the time, painting Israel to be the bad people, and anyone that talks out against the pro-Palestinian nutjob mob, you are labeled as a racist, hateful bigot. Again, that's all they've got. They've only got words to throw out at you, words that mean hardly anything nowadays. Or, by the way, the government will try and protect the Muslims by saying, Islamophobia. You can't talk out against the Muslims. Oh, dear. Or, God forbid that you're at a protest, right, which is what happened yesterday in Brisbane, and you throw insults out at the pro-Palestinian mob because you will be arrested. Or, God forbid, you wave an Australian flag and then you throw insults at the pro-Palestinian crowd because you will be arrested. Have a watch of this man, one of the main ringleaders, and have a listen to the mainstream media, Channel 9. The mainstream media paint this guy as being a hateful person. He's in the wrong, apparently. Have a watch of this.
Like here, it was peaceful, apart from one group of men with Australian flags throwing insults at marchers. Police moving in swiftly and arresting a ringleader.
Right. The mainstream media is saying that it was mostly peaceful. So according to the mainstream media, people chanting death to Israel and death to the West and death to Australia, that's apparently peaceful. Or people that are waving the known Hamas terrorism flag, that's apparently peaceful. You know why they're saying that it's peaceful? They're saying that it's peaceful because they're just marching in solidarity with one another. There's no disruption at all. And also because they're afraid. They're afraid of what would happen if they paint the pro-Palestinian mob as being the actual enemy. It's humanitarian, guys. Know what it is. It's terrorism. Masked up completely in gaslighting, along with propaganda that is shrouded in so much hate. It's crazy to see. And someone like an Aussie waving an Australian flag and saying, more than likely, I don't know what he was saying, but apparently his insults were so bad that he had to be arrested and taken away. And they'll go, this is incitement. Waving an Australian flag and saying probably what a lot of Australians are actually thinking about this is considered incitement. So really what they're scared about is they're scared about the actual violent offenders, the pro-Palestinian mob, getting outraged. So they can only be peaceful for a short period of time before they hear an Australian waving the Australian flag. This is Australia, for goodness sake, and it's been taken over by Palestinian flags and pro-terrorism crowds. Australia is done if we keep allowing this to happen, isn't it? Why is it that an Australian waving the Australian flag on Australian soil in Brisbane, no less, is arrested? For what? How many police are there? 4 police that I counted to take him away. Crazy. Look at the scenes in Sydney. The amount of people in Sydney. Have a watch of this. You have the Aboriginal flag mixed in with the Palestinian flag. You know why that is? Because apparently Australia are colonizers, just like the white man is a colonizer of Australia, Aboriginals. So that's why they are putting their causes together. It's horrendous. This was yesterday. And you're going to see more of this. It's not going to stop in our cities. And our politicians do nothing about it. They encourage it. They allow it to go on. Until what? Until when? What happens? They've already taken over. Our socialist government at the moment is complicit and unwilling to stop it. It's no longer the Australia that I remember. And like I said a moment ago, you don't see protests for Ukraine every single bloody weekend. You don't. So why is it just the Palestinian? Why? Well, only apparently 60,000 people have been killed. Most of them have been Hamas fighters. And they'll claim genocide. Sure, innocent kids have been killed. That's because Hamas used them as cannon fodder. They used them as human shields. But no one talks about the amount of children that have been killed by Russian drone strikes in Ukraine. That doesn't get much attention at all. The cause, the ideology is definitely Marxist. So why is it that the LGBT, the whatever else, whatever radical left flavor ideological nonsense they want to latch on, it's there. And they go one for all, right? All for one for all. Kind of like the Musketeers saying. It's crazy. Palestine rally crowd cheers as Australian police haul away a man waving the Australian flag in Brisbane. These rallies aren't about Palestine because Palestine doesn't even exist. They aren't about the children in Gaza. These rallies simply exist to vent hatred for Australia. And the police let them. The police allowing them to do this. It's easier to arrest one man that's waving the Australian flag than to have to deal with mass swaths of pro-terrorists out in the street that get violent. Most people didn't even have an issue with immigration when we brought in people with shared morals and values. No, I don't have an issue with immigration if people are brought in with shared morals and values. These people worked hard, contributed to their communities, and integrated into our society. I grew up in a multicultural society. It was great because people came here from different countries, they assimilated, they were peaceful, and they worked hard. Now, we've got none of that. This is no longer the case. The government is now releasing third world terrorists, PDF files, rapists, and murderers into our communities. We have dangerous cultural enclaves and no-go zones popping up all over our country, and we are seeing crime, violence, and foreign tribal wars on our streets. Aussies never agreed to this, and our country has never been more divided, disconnected, and fragile. We are living in a pressure cooker that is about to explode. The government is 100% responsible for destroying a once safe, high trust, and connected society for their own self-interests and agenda. All it's going to take, man, all it's going to take is, I hate to even say this, but August 31st, the counter protests. It's a pressure cooker. And while many people that will go and march, and the mainstream media are labeling August 31st as anti-immigration, and they're painting everyone that's there as actual terrorists, the ones that are waving the Australian flag. They even had a counter-terrorism man, expert, share his opinion, share his thoughts about the whole thing. Oh, gee, it's not good. We should not be marching. You know how crazy it is to hear that people now that wave the Australian flag, they're apparently the enemy, but those that aren't even Australian, that don't wave the Australian flag, that march on the streets for a pro-terrorism organization that hate the Jews, they hate Australia, they're apparently more Australian than a real Australian waving the Australian flag, a citizen. You know how backwards that is? It's no wonder that people are fed up. So why is it that this man waving the Palestinian flag, wearing the full scarf, and also in military gear, why is he doing that? In Australia, no less. How about this girl? Yahya Simwa on her shirt, masked up, covered. These people are cowards. They don't even want to show their faces. And how about this? Brisbane Times journalist wears a keffiyeh, whatever the hell you call it, to the Brisbane protests. Very normal and objective journalism, right? Wanting to be seen part of the collective. You know, it's dangerous. Australia is doomed. We've been taken over by hateful terrorists. And apparently I'm the bad one. Goodness me. Hamas flags as well were spotted in Brisbane yesterday. What is going on, Australia? And it's all thanks to Anthony Albanese and his weak leadership and government. It's destroyed Australia. It's divided everyone. And like I read out a moment ago, it's a pressure cooker. It only takes one thing before you get the Cronulla riots. And this is Australia, man. Most Australians are not going to take it. They're fed up. We're peaceful people. They're not. So why are we allowing them to march on our streets? Most of them probably don't even have jobs. They've got nothing better to do with their time. And why in the world are they even marching on the streets of Sydney when they can do jack all to stop what's going on in Gaza. It makes no sense. I'll finish with this. It is rather biblical what's going on. They want to get rid of people from the West, Christians, Jews, because they hate us and they want to take over. It's very biblical. Very biblical indeed. So I guess we're going to see more of this, unfortunately, and as frustrating as it actually is, just keep seeing it. To watch the Australia that I was born in and grew up in be dismantled right before my very eyes. It's sad, but we have hope. We have hope indeed. Anyway, my friends, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.